Good evening everyone, welcome to Gate Academy. So just confirm me whether the voice is audible so that we can start. So I hope everything is fine. Yes, Dheeraj, good evening. So let us, okay, so everything is fine. Okay, so let us start the discussion on thermodynamics. Okay, so from any time from now, our gate response sheet will be out, right? So official date is tomorrow, so mostly thoda sa jaldi aa jata hai, theek hai? So I hope that is fine. So by tomorrow you can easily calculate your marks. Okay, so let us see first of all what are the plans we should have for gate 2023 chemical engineering thermodynamics. So if you see your 2022 thermodynamics, so already we have done the discussion for chemical engineering thermodynamics for gate 2022. So apart from one question, all the other questions were based on PYQ, right? So we don't have any alarming problems for compared to other subjects in thermodynamics. We don't have any issue at all because whatever methods we followed this year is almost okay, right? It was like we can say 90% successful because we had only one question problem was there, right? So majority of the students skipped that question thinking about the length of that particular question, right? So otherwise all the other questions were somewhat related to our PYQ, so utna problem nahi hai. Okay, so let us see what should be the approach we should have. So first of all, whenever we start chemical engineering thermodynamics, we need to understand what is the number of, right, how many questions they can ask. For example, this year they asked 4 questions. So first thing I wanted to say is your thermodynamics is a combination of process calculation plus thermodynamics. This combinedly come for 12 marks. है ना, प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन प्लस थर्मोडायनामिक्स combinedly come for 12 marks. So इस साल के क्वेश्चन भी आप देख सकते हैं, that is for GATE 2022 we had a question based on Closius-Clapeyron equation. The same equation you study in process calculation as well. Okay, so normally they will ask you combined question. So first preference should be studying process calculation because normally in our colleges also once we study process calculation then only we will go for thermodynamics. Clear? So let us, so Dheeraj is saying, sir, please make the PDF of unofficial answer key so that we can calculate the marks unofficial by tomorrow. Definitely once the question paper is out, definitely we will be making, so don't worry, right? So once the question paper is out, we will keep a session as well, no problem. Okay, that is already there. So coming back to thermodynamics. So important part for thermodynamics is when you are preparing for GATE 2023, you can follow the same thing we have done in GATE 2022, not much difference, but what extra we can do that we will think. Okay, so first of all, books requirement. So let us see the books. So normally you are having what? Classical thermodynamics and solution thermodynamics. So just let me introduce you to the classical thermodynamics part and solution thermodynamics part separately, right? Let me just give you an introduction part. That is, generally we discuss classical thermodynamics in the sense this part is common for both mechanical and chemical. Okay, so the first topics are common for mechanical and chemical. So the both books I have noted here is mechanical engineering books. Okay, one is Sengel, second one is P.K. Nag. Even though in all these chemical engineering books I have mentioned for Thermo 2, okay, that is Smith and Wanners or Milody Koretsky or K.V. Narayanan. All these books contain Thermo 1 as well, right? But for more references or more questions, you can go for the mechanical books for understanding the concept. Okay, so we will discuss separately what is happening in each part. Okay, we will see the syllabus. Okay, then we will see which book you need to follow, everything. Okay, so these are the two things. So always remember Thermo 1 and Thermo 2. So Thermo 1 questions are more based on concepts. Thermo 2 more based on equation. If you remember this year question as well, GATE 2022 we had 4 questions. Out of that, if you remember, Thermo 1 question were directly based on one concept. Okay, directly PV diagram problem. And if you see Thermo 2, we had 3 questions based on equation. Okay, so from your thermodynamic properties of pure fluids, you had 2 questions, right? From your solution thermodynamics, you had 1 question. We had totally 3 questions. Clear? So this should be the books we need to use. So we'll come back to this. So let me just show you the syllabus. Okay, so let us see the syllabus. So always students will be having confusion, that is where should we start Thermo 1, right? Where should we start Thermo 1? So this is your latest syllabus, that is GATE 2022 syllabus is this. So you can read the topics given. First and second law of thermodynamics, right? I hope it is visible, yes. And application of first law to closed and open system. Second law on entropy. This is the only topics you have in Thermo 1. Okay. Now, people normally say 3 marks for Thermo 1 and 5 marks for Thermo 2. Doesn't happen like that always. Okay. If you see this year, there was only one question from Thermo 1. Okay. So, remaining marks for solution thermodynamics. So, there is no division. It is combined. Okay. We are making a division. है ना? हम divide कर रहे हैं Thermo 1, Thermo 2 करके. Right. For understanding it better. Okay, so why we have made that division obviously, right? Why we had made that division? Initially, why we made that division? Because normally in your any institute, if you take Thermo 1 will be taught by a mechanical faculty to make things simpler. Okay, that's the only reason we are making this division. That's all. Okay, you don't have any thermodynamics book saying it is Thermo 1, it is Thermo 2. If you see any chemical engineering book, we have combined book only. If you take Smith and Manners or KV Narayanan, any book if you take. Okay, so we will discuss this. So M. Raju is asking, sir, is this live useful for mechanical students? Sorry, this is for chemical because we are discussing about chemical engineering thermodynamics because the topics we have in chemical will not be there in mechanical. So there is no need to waste your time. Okay, no problem. Thank you for asking that question. So this is for chemical engineering. So solution thermodynamics, you can see here in solution thermodynamics, thermodynamic properties of pure substances से start हो रहा है हमारा syllabus, and equation of state, residual property, properties of mixture, partial molar property, fugacity, excess property, activity coefficient, phase equilibrium, VLE, that is vapor liquid equilibrium, and chemical reaction equilibrium. These are the topics we have. So now students sometimes ask, sir, where is the topic pure substances? Because whenever I teach thermodynamics 1, that is classical thermodynamics, we start with what? We start with the topic pure substances. है ना? Ideal gas, van der Waals gas, etc. We start with that, but that is not a part of thermodynamics syllabus. That is the first thing you need to remember. Okay, so whatever the first topic we discuss, whenever I teach Thermo 1, if you remember, we start with properties of ideal gas assumptions, van der Waals gas, compressibility factor, these things, if you remember. Pure substances, what is a pure substance, TV diagram, PV diagram, etc. So that is not actually a part of our thermodynamic syllabus. It is a part of, right, it is a part of your process calculation. That is the most important part you need to understand. It is a part of your process calculation. So process calculation and thermodynamics is your subject. Process calculation and thermodynamics is your subject. So in this process calculation chapter, we have what? We have topics like pure substances. Even though, since I don't teach process calculation, right? Even though I don't teach process calculation, मैं जब भी start करता हूँ ना thermodynamics, so I start with pure substances. Okay, so that is the most important part. Clear? So that students who skip process calculation, they will have some basic idea. Where do we start thermodynamics? That is the most important part, no? So सोचो, so आपका जो process calculation और thermodynamics में हमने जो भी pure substances topic discuss किया ना, that is coming in your process calculation, not in our thermodynamics. अगर आपको कुछ भी doubt है, so I will just show you a process calculation book index. Let me just show you a process calculation book index. So you can see this is the index of a process calculation book. First to process calculation textbook. It is a KV Narayanan textbook for process calculation, not for thermodynamics. It's a different book. Okay, process calculation book. So see here, why this process calculation is very, very important for us. Because first two chapters doesn't matter, introduction and your unit conversion doesn't matter. So from the third chapter you can see mole concept, equivalent weight, mass fraction, mass percentage. Those who have attended Kunjan ma'am's class, she might have taught this. So you can see here, dry basis, wet basis, these things they will cover. Doesn't matter, that you can understand. That is from the, process calculation separately. I'm not talking about this. So the second chapter you can see, ideal gases and gas mixture. This is your second chapter. Right? This year, Yes, Dheeraj is saying this year I also gave XC paper and 2 questions in thermo are based on quality formula direct. Okay, I hope you have solved that. Okay, now because we start always with quality, I start normally. Okay, so you can see here आप देख सकते हैं आइडियल गैस एंड गैस मिक्सचर्स आपका फोर्थ चैप्टर होता है प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन में. ठीक है, द सेम आइडियल गैस इक्वेशन कैलकुलेशन फॉर आइडियल गैस वी डिस्कस इन thermodynamics as well. Okay, so starting this chapter is very important for us. What is average molecular weight calculation, density, specific weight, etc. Okay, that is very, very important for us. Why? Because when you go forward in our closed system, open system, these kind of calculation, this may be useful. Okay, so understanding this is important. Now coming back to the real gases, if you remember. Coming back to the real gases. अब अभी भी मेरा thermodynamics 1 का lectures YouTube में available है. Right, आप डायरेक्टली सर्च कर सकते हैं thermodynamics by हरिशंकर सर. उसमें यू कैन सी द वीडियो वेयर आई हैव स्टार्टेड thermodynamics. मैंने स्टार्ट किया था प्योर सब्सटेंसेस पे. उसमें मैंने डिस्कस किया है वॉन डर वाल्स इक्वेशन ऑफ स्टेट. आप देख सकते हैं दिस इज योर प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन बुक, नॉट योर thermodynamics बुक. ठीक है, सो कहां से thermodynamics हमारा सिलेबस में स्टार्ट होता है वो टॉपिक्स आपके प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन में दिया है, नॉट इन थर्मो. ठीक है, सो आपको अगर बेसिक्स बनाना है और गेट 2023 के लिए आपको अच्छे से प्रिपरेशन स्टार्ट करना है, इफ यू वांट टू अंडरस्टैंड मोर, और आपको अगर 2-3 क्वेश्चंस एक्स्ट्रा सॉल्व करना है, हमेशा एक्स्ट्रा इज इंपॉर्टेंट ना, मतलब पीवाईक्यू बेस्ड जितने भी क्वेश्चंस होगा वो सारे लोग सॉल्व करेंगे. यू नीड टू सॉल्व एक्स्ट्रा टू गेट इनटू पीएसयू. मतलब मैंने गेट एग्जाम के पहले भी जब मैराथन लिया था तब भी मैंने बोला था दैट इज every questions in any subject will not be tough. All questions in one subject will not be tough. That is, if you are having 4 questions from one subject, 2 will be easy, 2 will be tough. Always like that. So that 2 easy questions everybody will solve. The challenge is how you are going to solve all that 4 questions. For 2023, what you can do is start with this textbook. You have a lot of time now. Right, start with this particular textbook. So I'm saying start with your process calculation. Okay, start with your process calculation. That is whatever we studied last year in thermodynamics, you already have the base, right? That is what is van der Waals equation of state, other cubic equation of states, right? So you know that compressibility factor, principle of corresponding state, I have discussed that in thermodynamics with you. Okay, that is compressibility factor. We write it as a function of reduced pressure, reduced temperature, etc. वो भी आपको याद होगा, last year हमने discuss किया था. The whole things are there. You can see equation of state, compressibility factor. Okay, so based on this, every year there will be one question. Last to last year there was a question to find what critical. What was that? Critical compressibility factor. ZC calculation based question was there. One question. So we never know that question was from process calculation. We always think okay that is from thermodynamics, but actually you have these topics in your book. ठीक है, you have these topics in your book. So process calculations, starting with process calculation is very very important before entering into thermodynamics. That's why मैं यहाँ तक डिस्कशन किया है. So आप देख लो नेक्स्ट चैप्टर क्या दिया है, वेपर प्रेशर एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट. इस साल क्वेश्चन आया है वेपर प्रेशर एंड बॉइलिंग पॉइंट से. Direct vapor pressure, Closius-Clapeyron equation calculation. Clear? So that is also there in your process calculation. Clapeyron, Closius-Clapeyron. We discuss in thermo 2 as well. है ना? Same thing. Now आप देख सकते हैं solution phase behavior, ideal solution. ये सब हम डिस्कस करेंगे thermo 2 में. Doesn't matter. 7 चैप्टर अगर आपने नहीं पढ़ा हो तो भी चलेगा क्योंकि we will study in thermo 2. Doesn't matter. But if you go further, vapor liquid equilibrium calculation, humidity chart, this may be important for you in mass transfer, right? That is when you study humidification, this chart, these things will be important to you. That is the same thing whatever we discuss. So this year there was a question based on humid volume. I hope so. Some students thought that question is from mass transfer. It is also from process calculation. गेट में तो ऐसा तो नहीं है कि आपको प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन अलग होगा मास ट्रांसफर, सब तो एक ही एग्जाम में आता है ना. डजंट मैटर इट इज फ्रॉम मास ट्रांसफर, इट इज फ्रॉम प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन. ठीक है, सो दीज टॉपिक्स आर वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. नाउ आप देख सकते हैं उसके बाद क्या है, मटेरियल बैलेंस. ये आपका जनरल प्रोसेस कैलकुलेशन टॉपिक्स है ना, डजंट मैटर. एनर्जी बैलेंस whatever. Now what is important is आप देख सकते हैं there is a last chapter called energy balance thermochemistry. Energy balance thermochemistry. If you remember in GATE 2021 there was a question mixed process calculation plus thermodynamics. There was a mixed question which was not solved by many students. Majority didn't solve that particular question. Everybody skipped that question because it was a combination of process calculation plus thermodynamics. So that question came from this particular chapter. That particular question came from this particular chapter, energy balance thermochemistry, where they have given standard heat of combustion and they were asking what is the, I think what is the internal energy change of the system, or not internal energy change, I guess they were asking what is the final pressure inside a vessel. So some vessel was given, it was insulated, I don't remember the exact question. So that was the part. Some reaction was happening, they gave you the standard internal energy change of the reaction, and that was from this particular chapter, process calculation. Okay, so that was from this particular chapter, process calculation. We all thought it was from thermodynamics, and it was a mixed question, and we couldn't solve this particular question because we didn't prepare this chapter. Okay, we didn't prepare this chapter. So those who want to excel in thermodynamics in chemical engineering, that is in your solution thermodynamics or basic thermodynamics, first preference should be given to the subject called process calculation in chemical engineering. Okay, so I've already told you which book is it, right? So you can buy it, you can keep a copy, so that will be helpful for you. Okay, so that is about classical thermodynamics starting. That is how can you start a subject. Right? How can you start thermodynamics? So first topic in thermodynamics is, I already told you, pure substances, which is not in our thermodynamics syllabus, but it is in your process calculation. So this is your first chapter. So this is the first requirement you need to complete before entering into chemical engineering thermodynamics. I hope it is clear. Now, if you didn't prepare process calculation also, okay, fine, you may get marks. Out of 8 marks, you may get 5 marks, doesn't matter, 5 or 6 marks. But we are talking about 8 out of 8. We need to score more, right? Clear? So this is the point. So last year onwards, from the last 2 years, if you can say 2021, 2022, they are asking mixed questions. So we need to prepare more. Okay? So that is the extra thing we need to do. So I hope up to this is fine. Now, what is the second chapter? Second chapter according to our syllabus. Right? Second chapter according to our syllabus is first law. First law. So first law in closed system. So 75% of your GATE questions are from closed system first law. This year also there was one question. Okay. Then there is an open system is there, but we don't have much questions in open system. Then what we are having? We are having very small subjects, very small syllabus in classical thermodynamics. If you see, you have what? First and second law of thermodynamics done. And application of first law to closed and open system, and finally second law and entropy. Okay, so these are your total syllabus in your Thermo 1. So in entropy, what are the things you need to study? In entropy, what are the things you need to study? That is, in entropy, we have basic level of entropy is required, and you have a lot of problems as well. Entropy change for ideal gases you need to prepare. Then you need to study what? Multi-stage compression. So multi-stage compression is also another topic you need to discuss, even though it is not given in the syllabus, but in your fluid mechanics they have given compressors as a topic, so you have to study that as well. Clear? So it doesn't matter which subject, you have to study this. Clear? So this is your Thermo 1, and I don't recommend you to read more mechanical books for Thermo 1 because your weightage for Thermo 1 is less compared to Thermo 2. Okay, so whatever you study, you can for concepts. For example, if you want to study more about entropy, you can read mechanical books, doesn't matter. Okay, Sengel is a good book. I already told Sengel is a good book for understanding entropy. What exactly is entropy? Okay, understanding entropy, what will be happening when there is a process, right? Reversible, irreversible, everything is very, very important. So concepts, your classical thermodynamics questions are always based on concepts. Generally, it's not based on equation. That is a major difference between your classical thermodynamics and solution. Okay, so this is the most important part. So understanding classical thermodynamics is our first priority. Understand what is happening when we are having an adiabatic compression, right? When it is an adiabatic compression, whenever it is a compression, your temperature will increase. If it is adiabatic, heat cannot go out, so temperature will increase. Isothermal means temperature we need to keep constant, so heat will go outside. So these logic things, logically you need to understand the process, what is happening. Okay, so always I tell you this, that is we are having what? Maximum 5 derivation in classical thermodynamics. This is a bottle, so it is a rigid bottle, so we can say what? It is a constant volume system. So if I am keeping this water bottle to the refrigerator, whatever work done will be what? 0, boundary work is 0. So whatever internal energy change of this water is due to what? Heat transfer. Clear? So understanding the processes, constant volume, constant pressure, isobaric, isothermal should be our priority. This year there was a question in GATE, only one question from Thermo 1. Clear? Understanding that is our priority. Once that is done, you are having what? You are having, everybody will say, sir, solution thermodynamics, right? Solution thermodynamics, what is important? Solution thermodynamics, the problem is equations are the problems. So remembering equations, you have lot of shortcuts, right? There is, you may have to understand what is the physical meaning of Gibbs free energy, okay? You may have to understand what is happening if it is a spontaneous process, right? So how can you connect enthalpy and entropy, and finally, how can you define a Gibbs free energy? Those things you may have to understand the physical significance, but if you see Helmholtz free energy or other than that, there is no need to go deep into that because all questions are directly based on equations in the first chapter. That is, which is your first chapter in Thermo 2. Your first chapter in Thermo 2 is thermodynamic properties of pure fluids. This year you had maximum number of questions from thermodynamic properties of pure fluids. You had 2 questions from thermodynamic properties of pure fluids. Okay, so in the same thermodynamic properties of pure fluids, you are having what? You are having 4 fundamental property relations are there. Based on that, how to derive Maxwell relation, that entire derivation you need to remember it, right? It is not like, right, you will forget that, you cannot forget that. So try to derive in such a fashion or try to understand the topics in such a way that you should be able to remember it all the time, right? So I always recommend my students, यही same thing मैं बोलता हूँ सबको कि आपको directly ये आना चाहिए. That is whenever you start preparing Thermo 2, right? So आपको ये top table से start करना होता है ना? ये table से start कर लो, कभी आपको कुछ भी problem नहीं होगा. यहां से स्टार्ट करना है आपको, है ना? U plus PV is equal to H, right? So A plus PV is equal to G, U minus TS, H minus TS. So यहां से स्टार्ट किया तो आपका पूरा equations you will be able to remember it. Okay, so you can write 4 fundamental property relation, you can write the Maxwell relation, from there you should be able to derive all the equations. This year there was a question based on what? The basic compressibility, bulk modulus of elasticity, or we can say what? Coefficient of thermal expansion. There was a question 2022 mein. Okay? So once you remember, right, how to derive the formula, there is no need to remember the formula I am saying. You need to understand how to derive it. Okay? So by remembering this table, that is this direction, it should be plus PV. This direction it should be minus TS. From this you need to remember everything, right? That is, without your notebook you should be able to derive it. So Thermo 2 will be more easy because thermodynamic properties of pure fluids is chapter say. Up questions dekh lo, there are no conceptual questions, all questions are directly based on equation. Okay, so understanding the first chapter is important. You will be easily able to solve all the questions, that is the guarantee. This year also, easy question they have asked. Next is what? Solution thermodynamics. In solution thermodynamics, what are the topics you have? Right, first is partial molar property. Right, maximum kind of questions in solution thermodynamics is already asked. Right, that is when we mix 2 particular pure substances, we can say we are making it a solution, homogeneous solution. Now, you have maximum, how many equations are there in solution thermodynamics? Once you understand it, it is very easy. Okay, so most of the questions are repeated in solution thermodynamics. Now, whenever you study solution thermodynamics, what you have to do? You have to make a comparison by yourself. That is, how can you compare excess property and residual property? Whatever equations you study for excess property, same kind of equations are there for residual property as well. Whenever you understand both, right, whenever you understand residual is for gases, excess is for generally for solutions, liquid, you can say liquid solution, no problem, right? So if you understand those kind of things, and if you are able to substitute, if you are able to compare these 2 equations, it's very simple. Okay, so your total subject will become very easy and you will be able to score the marks. Okay, in chemical reaction equilibrium chapter, in the last chapter, chemical reaction equilibrium, what is the problem we are having? Only one type of question they have asked so far in chemical reaction equilibrium. Okay, every year they won't ask also. If you see 3 years, they will ask one question. Then you have what? Degrees of freedom question. Okay, so these are the total things you have in thermodynamics. Once you understand it, it's very, very simple. So Thermo 2 is all about equations, right? So if you remember the equation and if you can understand what is happening in solution thermodynamics, especially most of the students will be having doubt in this particular equation, right? That is, let me just write the equation. Everybody will be having the doubt in this particular equation. That is, your partial molar property of I in solution in an ideal gas mixture at temperature T and pressure P, we will write it is equal to pure gas property at temperature comma partial pressure of A, PA. This is except for volume. Why it is not same for volume? Why it is not same for volume? So understanding this is important. Right, understanding this is important. Why everybody will study, okay, it is except for volume. Why it is not same for volume? Why cannot we write volume is same? Right, and if you are taking two ideal gases at the same temperature and pressure, why the molar volume is same? So understanding that is important, right? Right, with equations, you need to remember why it is same, why it is not same for volume. Volume is a property. Right. So for example, according to this equation, if I am writing Gibbs free energy of a component A in solution ideal gas mixture at temperature T and pressure P is equal to Gibbs free energy of A pure component temperature comma PA partial pressure of A. The same thing I can write it for entropy, enthalpy, any property except for volume. So why it is not equal to, why it is not same for volume? Understanding that is important. Right, once you understand that, all the derivation in your Thermo 2 will become easy. Trust me, I didn't understand this equation at all when I first prepared for GATE. Okay, I didn't understand this equation at all because in some books, the books I referred didn't have this particular concept at all because they went for the different derivation. This concept is given in your Smith and Warner's book only. Right, that is based on this concept how we are deriving all the equations in Thermo 2, solution Thermo. In remaining books, they have given a different concept. Clear? Whichever book you follow, you can take any book. Right, only in Smith and Warner's they have used this particular kind of derivation. So this is very easy to understand as well once you clear the doubt. Clear? So this is a very, very important part. So try to understand solution Thermo as well. Now, what should be your basic task? Right, so this is your first chapter, right? First chapter already I have discussed. Now compulsory task you need to follow. So Thermo 1 and Thermo 2 is combined. So the first task I have already told you, that is you need to complete your process calculation part. You may not be good with material balance or energy balance, doesn't matter. Whichever topics I have highlighted in that process calculation book. That is, one is that pure substances chapter. Second one is the last chapter. Okay, that is combustion, reaction, etc. Okay, how to standard heat of reaction, standard combustion of reaction. Those part you need to cover. So these are the first important part you need to do before starting Thermo. Once that part is over, understand what is first law of thermodynamics. Why there is a sign difference, sign convention. Why it is different for mechanical books, chemical books. Understand it. Right, once you understand it, it will be very, very easy because right, the sign convention we discuss in our chemical books are different compared to mechanical books. So always student will have this confusion. If you see different test series as well, they are still giving the answer in minus 100 joule and we will be getting sometimes 100 joule. Okay, so in GATE, this year also you can see they can never give you two options, 100 and minus 100 for work because both are correct. Okay, so due to the sign convention, we are having a different answer. Clear? So understanding the subject is very, very important. So extra what you can do is, right, extra what you can do is, for example, very simple compulsory task I am saying is, Thermo 1, you don't have to spend more time, that will be my suggestion, because almost Every chapter we will complete in, for example, we have only what, 3 topics. First law, closed system, open system. Second law, entropy. That's the only topic we have. Right? All type of questions will, majority of the Thermo 1 question will include in the PYQ itself, if you see the last 30-year PYQ. Okay? There are a lot of questions normally people will skip. Right? There is no need to skip any questions. All questions are somewhat simple in Thermo 1. If you remember the derivation, if you understand the process, all questions can be easily solvable. That is the part in Thermo 1. Thermo 2, it is about equation. If you don't remember the equation, or if you don't remember how the equation is derived, it may take some time. Okay? For example, I am saying, right, for example, I am saying if you see this year question paper for Thermo, there's an equation dV by V is equal to, we have discussed this in the class as well, beta dt minus alpha dp. And in the question they were asking what is dt by dp or something. I think they were asking dt by dp or dp by dt something. So someone who knows this equation, for them derivation will be simple. जिसको ये equation याद नहीं है, so for them, for example, constant volume दिया था, तो ये equation 0 हो जाएगा. So beta dt is equal to this one. ठीक है? So understanding the equation, where we can use that equation, that is very, very important. Clear? So these are the things we can do. I hope it is fine. So I have already told about the books. Yes. So regarding GATE 2023, right? Regarding GATE 2023, for thermodynamics, it is again 8 plus 4, process calculation plus thermodynamics. So first, my suggestion will be prepare process calculation, then start thermodynamics, because you have now time. Okay, you have a long time left, right? So once you understand thermo, right? Once you understand thermo 2, without seeing the book, try to remember the equation. That will help you a lot, right? Whenever I am teaching also, right? For thermo 2, right, for thermo 2, for example, from this year I have started writing without seeing the notebook, because I wanted to improve my derivations as well. Okay, so the same thing you can also practice without seeing the notebook. Try to write it, right, the equations in thermo 1 and thermo 2. So that is going to improve your total understanding of the syllabus. Clear? So for that, try to understand the equations in properties of thermodynamic properties of pure fluids. Clear? So these are the part I wanted to discuss. And regarding, yes, okay, regarding the candidate response sheet, once it is out, we will discuss what is the cutoff, etc., everything. Okay, so these much things I just wanted to share. Okay, what are the extra things? Okay, yes, that is fine. Okay, so regarding thermodynamics, these are the things I would like to share. So already thermo 1 आप start कर सकते हैं. Thermo 1 अभी भी YouTube में है, those who are watching, right? You can go back and revise your topics in thermo 1. ठीक है? So and another important part regarding candidate response sheet, once it is out, we will have a session, no problem, right? We will discuss the answers as well. Now उतना difference नहीं होगा यार, right? There won't be not much difference, because some questions answer range के हिसाब से थोड़ा इधर उधर हो सकता है. There are some extra questions, maybe some controversial question बोल सकता है. 1-2 questions ऐसा है, उसका आंसर गलत भी हो सकता है, right? So maximum 2-3 marks का ही variation होगा, doesn't matter. लेकिन आपको एक approximate marks मिल जाएगा by tomorrow, right? Once the answer key is released. Okay, so I hope it is fine. So with this, I'm finishing my session today. Thank you very much for joining. See you all tomorrow with the session with the candidate response sheet. Okay, thank you very much.